Hi! So one question I get quite frequently here on my channel is if I can name some books or resources for Linux driver development. And of course a very good resource for Linux driver development are my videos here on YouTube. So over the years I really made a lot of different videos about drivers for different buses and different kernel subsystems, so I think it's absolutely worth taking a look at them. But of course I can understand that different people prefer different ways of learning stuff. So for some people it's okay to watch a video, but others prefer reading something, for example. And when I restarted my Linux driver tutorials in 2024, I tried to take this into account. So what I did is here on my repository for the Linux driver tutorials, in every lecture you can find a README which gives you some more information about the source file, which is also available here in the repository. And I think if you take a look at the source file and you're reading this README here, you will get quite a good idea what I tried to explain in this lecture, even if you haven't watched the video. So it would be cool if you could write in the comments if you like these READMEs or if you prefer watching videos, but nevertheless I think this will become also a good resource on Linux driver development when I add some more sections. I mean, currently I'm only at lecture 11, so yeah, room for improvement is here. But of course also I can cover any bus or obscure Linux kernel subsystem, so it's absolutely worth knowing some other resources for Linux driver development. And a very good resource is the book Linux Device Drivers 3rd edition. It was written by some kernel developers and it explains most relevant things about Linux device drivers to you, starting from how to write a simple Hello World Linux kernel module up to more complex things like PCI drivers, network drivers, TTY drivers, interrupt handling, and so on and so forth. What is really cool about this book is that you can access it for free on the internet, so I will put a link to this book into the description of my video. And you can just pick a chapter you're interested in and download it here basically. I also own a hard copy of this book, and my videos about PCI, USB and network drivers are based on the knowledge I got from this book. So it's written really good, really understandable, and there are really good examples available which shows you how you can write Linux drivers. But there are some downsides to this book as well. The first downside is it was written for Linux kernel 2.6.10. Currently we are at 6.15 or something, so it's quite outdated. And the problem is the API within the Linux kernel changes quite a lot. So if you're taking a driver from this book and try to compile it, you will get errors sometimes. Not everything is still compilable what is written here in this book. But there is a solution. Some people try to port the examples from this book to more recent kernel versions. So here are the examples of the Linux Device Driver 3rd edition ported to kernel 5.10. And if I would search a little bit longer on the internet, I'm quite sure I would have found later a repository which ports the driver to the current Linux kernel. Okay, but even that the examples are a little bit outdated, the concepts which are explained in this book does still apply and are still relevant today, because a Linux driver is still mostly what it was back in the days. You have an init and an exit function, you have a probe and remove function for adding and removing the devices, so most of the stuff does still apply. And as you have seen with my videos about PCI drivers, most of the knowledge is from this book here, so I think I can still recommend this book to you. But another downside of this book is that it's focusing mostly on standard PC hardware and interfaces like PCI or USB, for example. But if you want to write Linux drivers for embedded systems, maybe you're more interested in buses like I2C, SPI or device tree drivers. and these are not covered in this book here. But for those topics, I can recommend you another book. This book is written by John Mathieu. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. And this book is called Linux Device Driver Development 2nd Edition. So you can see the book is more recent. It was released 3 years ago, and I think it's written for Linux kernel 5.10 also. So a much more recent kernel. And it also includes topics which are more related to embedded Linux development. So you can find lectures about how to write SPI or I2C devices. I own a hard copy of this book, and I read the sections about GPIO drivers and device tree drivers, and this book is also written quite good. It gives you a lot of examples, so I figure even if I haven't read it completely, I can also recommend it. Also, this book also explains to you how you can cross-compile a Linux kernel and how to set up a development environment for Linux kernel development, which is also not included in this book here. So I think it's also worth taking a look at this book. A downside to this book here is it's not available for free, so you have to pay for it. But if you're looking for a free resource to learn about embedded Linux driver development, I can also recommend Embeddtronics Embedded Tutorial Zone. They also made a series about Linux device drivers. So in here you can find 48 examples for writing Linux device drivers. And they are using a Raspberry Pi or a BeagleBone board as a platform. So quite similar to my tutorial where I'm using Raspberry Pi. And I also have to admit that my early videos were heavily inspired by Embeddtronics tutorials. So if you take a look in the video description, you will find references to these tutorials here. So yeah, let's pick maybe the I/O control tutorial here, and you can also see you have a lot of text describing the drivers to you, and you will also find some source code with descriptions. So I think it's also written quite well, quite understandable, and I would also recommend you to check this out. But a cool thing is if you're starting learning about Linux device drivers, and if you're progressing, at some point you will be able to just open the Linux kernel sources, take a look at the driver, and you will be able to understand what's ongoing. So for example, here I have a very simple driver for an I2C device which gives you 8 GPIO pins, for example, and this is a driver code, so it's only 137 lines of code, and after you have understand the basics, you will be able to read such a driver. So I think for me it took a half a year or a year until I could take a look at my first simple drivers in the Linux kernel sources and understand what's ongoing here. So yeah, this is also a good resource after you gain your first experience. Yep, so these are some of the resources I would recommend, but I think we also have to talk about something which is quite common nowadays. So in 2025, generative AI is everywhere, so why not use generative AI for learning about Linux drivers? I can only talk about 3 available versions of generative AI, like DuckAI, the AI from DuckDuckGo, where you can choose between various models and which you can use without registrations. Maybe paid AI models like the one from OpenAI are better. I can't tell, I haven't used them, but I have to say, yes, it's very tempting just to prompt AI and say, please write a hello world Linux driver, and then it will generate some source code to you, it will generate a description of the code, and at the first glance everything looks really good. But you have to be careful when using generative AI for Linux kernel development. So simple things like a hello world Linux kernel module, a PCI driver, a template for this will probably work, but I already told you the API within the kernel is changing quite a lot. And I think with the data this AI was trained, there were a lot of different versions of the Linux kernel available. So it's easy, or it can happen quite fast, that AI is mixing different versions up. And also because it's only trained until a specific date, later kernel versions won't be available. So let me give you an example. Here, let me prompt write Linux driver registering a class, for example, and it will generate some code for me, where it shows me how I can register a class. But most likely, when we're taking a look at the function which is used for registering the class, you can see the function is called class create, and it has 2 arguments here. But if I take this function and search for it in a recent Linux kernel, you can see this API has changed. Now there's only 1 argument needed for this function. And of course, but if the AI is telling you, the AI thinks 2 arguments are needed here. So you can't completely rely on the code which the AI is generating to you. And if you're getting into more complex stuff, it will also become harder to trust the results you get from Gen AI. So I personally would recommend you to go with the other resources I've shown you, and I would also highly recommend you to write the code by your own, because I think if you're typing something, or I learn something easier if I'm writing or if I'm typing it, so it helps me learning. And what I also would recommend you to do is modify the code a little bit, which you have written, tinker around with it and see how the changes are affecting the driver, because I think that's the way how to learn it. And also code a lot of examples. Try a lot of stuff, it will help you gain experience. But maybe one thing I say this Gen AI is not so bad is, for example, when we go back to this GPIO driver here, and you are really not knowing what's ongoing here in this probe function, you can take it, you can pass it in here and say, explain the code to me. Then it will explain the code to you. And here it's, at least from my experience, here it's better than when generating the code. But of course, also here you have to be careful. AI can hallucinate, it can make things up, and you always have to be aware of that. But I would be very interesting if you think generative AI is good for learning or bad for learning. Please let me know in the comments down below. But in general, now you know some resources for getting started with Linux device drivers, and I hope they're useful for you. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. In case you want to support my work, you can buy me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/linux4linux. So thanks for watching and goodbye.